That was a great conversation. I wish I had more time with him. Unfortunately, he only had 30 minutes to be on this show today, but definitely will be inviting him back on the air in the future, as I feel he is a great mentor for being a top-level producer in a very competitive market such as New York City. In studio with me, Stella Giudicelli is also here, and also Melissa Stoddard, a regular expert contributor with Stewart Title. Melissa, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Jamie. How are you?
Doing great. How was the weekend?
It was good, nice and relaxing.
Great, great. Now, Stella, I saw you taking notes and everything with the interview with Ryan. I know you like to learn from so many different people.
Mm-hmm.
What were some of your takeaways from the interview? What did you find most impressive there?
Well, first of all, I love that he wakes up at 4:30 a.m. and goes to the gym.
I figured you would like something, like that level of dedication to get up at 4:30 in the morning to go to the gym.
Well, that's actually what I do too. So I was like, yes, at least I have that in common. It does give you a great energy for the day, so I'm with him on that. And then, I just liked how he considered every listing as kind of a new enterprise and would look at it and redo the whole marketing and do something personalized. So what else do I have? Direct mail and the fact that, people are stuck onto their phones, and life and communication is so different today. And it's just, again, so impersonal, how do you say, impersonal?
Impersonal.
So a little note, I'm all for that as well. So it was all great reminders.
Now, Melissa, you also watched the show and everything. What did you take away? What did you most enjoy about $1 Million Listing and Ryan?
I like their competitiveness, how they have friendly but serious, just their dynamics together are pretty impressive, just watching that show. And the different markets that we're in, us being Florida, them being New York, the different values of there compared to here. So it's just nice to hear another perspective of another person in another area talking about real estate.
Yeah.
And they're feeling the same, I think, push that we are, where real estate's really growing and our market's coming back. So it's all positive. It's a good thing. Yeah,
I've watched the show for the last 2 and now into the third season. And also there's a $1 Million Listing out in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. And there's also now going to be a $1 Million Listing in Miami that's in production.
Yeah, I heard that. Yep.
So unfortunately I'm in Tampa, not in Miami, so I'm not going to have any shot or bid on that show. But very interesting, very interested to find out who the brokers are going to be down in Miami. There are several top level producing brokers that are in our company. And so waiting to see if they become stars of the show. But definitely an exciting thing to be a part of, something, a reality show based around what you do in real estate.
I agree.
But, I like to also watch the show because it highlights the differences between what I do in real estate and what he does. And, and because I'm a foreclosure sales broker, and he is obviously a luxury top producing broker in, the most competitive real estate market in the country. And I myself work with, bank sellers every single day, and he works with, multi-million-dollar net worth people. And so it's completely different. I see him going out there doing broker opens, things like that. That's one thing we don't do here in Tampa too often, the broker open. And that's just when you get a new listing, you send out invitations to all the brokers, and then you have like an open house just for the brokers. You don't see that too often in Tampa, but it seems to be a central point of what they do up in New York City. It's a big event that a lot of brokers, look forward to when a new listing hits the market. I think you see it sometimes on the higher end down here in Tampa, but it's very underutilized form of marketing in Tampa Bay.
I think what it is too, there's brokers open every Wednesdays in Tampa, but the way that he does it is obviously, as a huge event. And I think that's, he just takes everything that is everyone has standardized and make it differently, and I think that's a huge difference too. Yeah,
and it's also representative of the price point that he is at. But even in Tampa is a higher price point. We just don't see too many broker opens. It's a different every real estate market is different, and they have their different customs and practices. And when you become involved in real estate in a different in a city, you got to learn the culture of the brokers. If I was to pack up shop and go to Miami, my practices and cultures and customs probably wouldn't translate to the Miami market, and I can guarantee you they definitely would not translate to the New York market. And so that's just one of the differences that I see, and one of the reasons why I enjoy the $1 Million Listing show is it highlights the differences that in the same business that we're in, but it's completely a different daily routines that we're involved in. Another thing, I deal with, cash or keys. I deal with tenants in properties. I have to deal with evictions. property inspections, billing on these properties, and utilities. When you manage bank properties, you got to pay the bills for them and submit them for reimbursement. We got to deal with city and county and HOA violations. And so I've always said it'd be an interesting show to have, like, REO bank listing, show instead of like $1 million listing. Don't know if that'll ever happen, but it would definitely be an entertaining show, because I can tell you, as I've told several stories here on the air of some of the things that we've gotten ourselves involved in with these bank properties. It would definitely be an entertaining show, but we'll see if that comes up here in the future.
Yeah, you're dealing with that, and they're dealing with staging $1 million home, spending $30,000 in one day to put furniture in it.
Yeah, it's definitely an entertaining job that I'm in. Unfortunately, every single day I get 20 new problems handed to me, and I never know quite what to expect. And every property comes to me has its own flavor and its own set of problems, and you just got to take the good with the bad, and fortunately, I've made a good career out of doing it. And but again, I definitely like to watch brokers in other cities and learn from them. And I feel Ryan is a great top producing agent. Something that I took out of the interview with him is his use of direct mail and the adding the personal touch back to the real estate and stuff, because when you're selling a person's home, you got to have that personal connection, and when you're also representing a buyer, you got to make a personal connection with them. And that's something I feel that in our region that's been removed from the real estate practice, and something that I want to look to develop for my own my own business as well. Would you not say, Stella?
Yeah, I encourage you to do so.
I want to market a couple of properties. Got some great deals on some properties here. One of them just come back on the market. So for the realtors that are out there listening to me, 6243 Osprey Lake Circle in Riverview in the Osprey Run Townhomes. That's a HUD property, and that's come back on the market, listed at $74,500. It is open to all bidders, so you can find that property at HUDHomestore.com, and it's a 2-bed, 2.5 bath house with 1,035 square feet. So I invite you over to HUD Home Store to take a quick look at that one, as a lot of people are taking a look at that one. Also, another one down in Bradenton at 3107 Bayshore Gardens, listed at $69,900. That one is open to owner-occupants only, but that one is also getting a lot of attention. So you'll find out from listening to me on the radio which properties are hot and which ones are not. So again, please tune into my show every Mondays at noon, as I will have deals of the week on my show. So Melissa, I want to talk a little bit more with you about yourself and your community involvement and your relationship and your job with Stewart Title. So tell me a little bit about yourself and some of the groups that you're involved in.
Well, I'm involved with WCR, Women Council Realtors. Obviously, I'm involved with GTAR and a whole bunch of other good core realtor-based groups. Those are my two core, I believe. But I've been a Florida native, actually lived in Tampa my entire life. Actually was born in Ybor City and moved to the West Tampa area when I was like 9 years old. And I've prior to coming to Stewart Title, I was in real estate for 18 years. So I kind of I have a good grasp on what the market is doing today. History of Stewart Title, my history of Stewart Title, I've been there for about a year, and Stewart Title has celebrated their 120th year anniversary this year, which is a pretty big milestone for a title company. And we're not just a title company, we're actually the underwriter. So a lot of the little title companies out here that you guys use, they are actually being underwritten by Stewart Title. So we have a plant here in Tampa. So I think it's...
Yeah, the Stewart Title brand has international reach.
Oh, yeah.
It's all across the country, and a lot of other title companies come to Stewart Title to underwrite, their title insurance policies, and something, that I feel is, very, very good thing with Stewart Title. And you're also a preferred provider for many of the banks out there, including Fannie Mae.
That's right, and we also are a HUD provider as well. That is correct. Stewart Title is in every city in every state and also 80 countries, so... I think we're a big deal.
Yeah, and for people that aren't familiar with what title insurance is, whenever you purchase a property, you want to obtain title insurance to make sure that you have clear, marketable title to the property, and so you don't move into the property and get a notice in the mail that there's a huge lien on the property, or an heir to a prior owner has a right to the property. And so title insurance protects you from these types of situations. So when you go to contract on a property, the title companies will run a lien search, title search, and municipal lien search, and they'll check to make sure that when you close on the property, you own the property with free and clear title with no surprises after closing. If something were to come up, though, after closing, as you know, things do slip through, the title insurance protects you from the life of the time that you own the property, and you pay an upfront fee and at closing, and you never pay for that fee again. And if something were to come up, the title company will then, the insurer will represent you in whatever legal proceedings are necessary. Am I accurate?
You're 100% accurate. And unlike other insurance, like auto insurance and home insurance, which are monthly charges, title insurance is a one-time fee, and it is required. So it's not like you can go in unless you buy a property cash. Mm-hmm. You have to have title insurance. It's a requirement from every lender out there to have title insurance because they want to insure their interest in the property as well to make sure that there's no liens.
And it's very important. And title insurance, if you're buying cash or buying from an auction, it's not something you have to get. It's required if you have a lender involved. But it's something when you're for the investors out there that are buying these properties at auction and the bank properties that I sell, it's highly advisable to purchase a title insurance policy. And I always recommend that they even get them reviewed by a secondary attorney as well. Because one person's opinion may not be the opinion of another, and you may need to clean something up prior to closing while the seller is still involved. Very true with the bank-owned properties that I sell, as they are a haven for litigation and legal issues, and every single property I sell seems to have some type of title defect. Everything's correctable, but you need to deal with it prior to closing. So it's very important that you purchase title insurance, and my regular contributor, Melissa Stoddard with Stewart Title, can definitely set you up with a great title insurance policy. Melissa, real quick for the audience, if you'd give out your contact information and the website for Stewart Title, please.
Sure. My contact information or my direct phone number is 813-230-1863. You can also reach me by email, melissa.stoddard@stewart.com, which is also on Jamie's website. And Stewart's website is www.stewart.com/Tampa.
And they do a great job, and they've represented my buyers and many of my REO properties through the 7 or so years that I've been in the business, so they come highly recommended. So again, please reach out to Melissa Stoddard, and if you didn't get her contact information there, you can always reach out to me through my website, tampabayradio.com, and I have another website, tampabayreo.com, so that's where you'll find all of my listings, and you can reach out to me through the contact form on either of those two websites. If you're just tuning in, you've been listening to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show here on 1250 WINS WHNZ. And again, you'll find my show on every Mondays at noon. Please stay tuned. Be back in a moment.
Since opening its doors 120 years ago, Stewart Title Company has established a lasting legacy of providing professional title services. Even other title insurance companies know Stewart Title Company because they do their actual underwriting for them. Stewart is here to provide a wide range of resources to help improve any real estate transaction. To learn more about protecting yourself against hidden title hazards that may threaten your financial investment, call Melissa Stoddard at 813-431-8025. That's 813-431-8025.
Thinking about buying a home? Find out how the HUD Home Store can help you. Visit HUDHomestore.com. Look at HUD homes available for sale near you or nationwide. Why HUD Home Store? HUD will pay up to 3% of the buyer's closing cost. The price of the home is based on an FHA as-is appraisal, which is already completed, saving you an average of $400. And there is an owner-occupant priority bidding period during the first 30 days. Want to know more? Visit HUDHomestore.com.
Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage want you to experience the thrill of one-day underwriting and the comfort in knowing your loans will be clear to close in record time. While the competition looks to a lost closing date, Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage focus on their 12-day clear to close. They do this by utilizing their world-class operations staff to underwrite your loan within 6 hours, process your loan in 12 days, and have your loan closed in time. Underwritten in 6 hours, cleared to close in 12 days. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage. You're listening to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show with local expert Jamie Meloni. Now, here's Jamie.
Hi again, everybody, and thanks for staying tuned in to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show here on 1250 WINS WHNZ. Again, you'll find my show on every Mondays at noon, so please tune in as my show aims to become your information source for the Tampa Bay real estate market. Off the air, you get me on my websites. I mentioned in the prior segment, tampabayradio.com. That's my show website. And in my listings, you'll find at tampabayreo.com. And I'm actually in the process of redesigning my site and merging those two sites. So there'll be a lot of great information at those sites and combined into one site here in the next few weeks, as I expect that to be done very soon. For all the potential home sellers in the Tampa Bay real estate market, I offer a free home valuation. Just text the word value to my cell phone at 813 813-760-8516. Again, text the word value to 813-760-8516. So I
have a question
Yeah,
for
go
Melissa,
ahead.
if it's okay. Melissa,
Sure.
I'd like you to elaborate on this. So Stewart Title is also an underwriter, and most people will go to you for that. What does that mean to a client?
It means
I believe it's an extra layer of security for the client that you are the underwriter.
Here's where there could be an issue. Let's say you have a buyer and they buy a home and they go to a title company, ABC Title Company.
Mm-hmm.
They end up wanting to refinance their home and they can't find their title insurance policy. ABC Title is no longer in business.
Right.
Stewart Title is the underwriter. So if they're savvy enough, they can go to their policy. A lot of times they just go to their HUD, their settlement statement, to see who the title company was. But if they're savvy enough to go to their actual policy, they can contact Stewart Title any capacity, and we can help them reissue credit or provide them with their title policy again. So it's almost like going through a mortgage broker or going through a direct lender. So we would be considered the direct source for title insurance instead of using a middleman for title, because we underwrite and we provide the service.
Right, and Stewart Title is a very established and sound company, so they're pretty much sure if they go straight to you that if there's anything,
It's
you're going to be
direct.
there for them,
Yes.
and you're the one who did the title insurance for them, so it would just be easier.
It's easier than going through. There's only 3 direct underwriters here
Okay.
locally, so Stewart happens to be one of them.
Okay, thank you.
And another thing I like about Stewart Title is you all have a transaction-based website, or it keeps you up to date on all the transactions.
That's right.
And I know, dealing with the hundreds of title companies that I've come to deal with through the years, I think you're the only one that has that. I think there's one other that I saw out there. But you can go into the transaction manager and keep up to date with all of the documents and what's going on with the approvals.
That is
And-
correct. You can also load that on your cell phone for free. It's Stewart My Files. So if you're a realtor and you're traveling out of the country, you can stay up to date on what's going on with your transaction 24/7.
Very good, very good. That's
Yeah.
something that I reference a lot, and something that I see of a lot of value with Stewart Title. So again, I appreciate you coming in and speaking with the audience.
My
and
pleasure.
Telling us a little bit more about yourself and Stewart Title. And again, Melissa Stoddard, a regular contributor to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show. A couple things I always like to mention in all my shows. I'm a Fannie Mae direct broker, and they've extended their 3.5% closing cost assistance offer to homeowners. It had expired at the end of March there, but that's been extended to the end of April. So if you go to homepath.com, that's the site where you can find all of the Fannie Mae properties. You can now get 3.5% closing cost assistance on properties if you purchase them as an owner-occupant during the first look period, and you have to request the assistance with the initial offer. The first look period is a initial 20-day period when the properties are first listed by Fannie Mae that give priority to just owner-occupants. And again, the investors are not eligible to bid, so that enables a buyer to get into a property with financing as opposed to competing up against a lot of cash offers. And they, along with Freddie Mac, another government sponsored entity that we represent, they also have a 20-day initial list period for owner occupants, as does HUD, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, as I am also a HUD direct broker. And a great thing to know about the HUD properties is that all properties in the state of Florida qualify for $100 down instead of the normal 3.5% down that you have to put down with an FHA loan. So it's something that a lot of people aren't aware of, and it's something that's not marketed very well by HUD or the other real estate brokers. So I try to get the word out as much as possible on my show. And again, you can find all of the HUD properties at hudhomestore.com. And again, all properties, I think, except with the exception of mobile homes, as I had that issue come up on one of my closings that did not qualify for the $100 down, although the website does say that they all do qualify for $100 down. Now, keep in mind, it doesn't mean that you're going to show up to closing with just $100. You're going to have your other closing costs added on top of the closing, but you can substitute the 3.5% down payment for the $100. And again, you can get information on this at hudhomestore.com. And another great thing about HUD properties is the ability for people that are in special groups such as teachers, firefighters, emergency responders, they can buy properties during the lottery period at HUDHomestore.com for 50% off the appraised value. And again, to find these properties, if you go to HUDHomestore.com and in the buyer type, if you select Good Neighbor Next Door, and you can see which properties are available, you can buy these properties at 50% off the appraised value. The only problem I see with that program is that there's just not a lot of inventory available on the market, and the properties that do come available for that program, they're usually, people miss them because they are not in the MLS, because they do not offer selling agent commissions, so they can't go in the MLS because there's no offer of compensation. That's a rule of the MLS. And so the only way that you're going to know about them as a buyer is to constantly monitor the HUD website and try to find these properties as they hit the market. So a recommendation that I always give to people that are in the teacher, firefighter, or emergency responder group: when you begin to look for a home, make sure you allow yourself sufficient time to find one of these properties. You want to begin your home search probably at least a year in advance before you'll see one of these properties pop up. And again, you have to make the offer during that lottery period. That's an initial 7-day bid period when the property is first listed at HUDHomestore.com. And then you bid full list price on the property, and then you get a 50% discount on the property. But I've listed HUD properties now for 4 years, and I still have not seen anybody take advantage of this program. And I think it's a great opportunity for the right person out there. And again, some great information that you can get here on the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show, again, that you'll hear every Mondays at noon. So, had a great weekend. I'm getting ready to get out of here. Just wanted to follow up with one last comment here. Watch, getting old now, watch WrestleMania over the weekend. And for people that always, make fun of the fact that I still watch, professional wrestling, it's a soap opera for us men. And last night was WrestleMania. And unfortunately, my childhood icon, The Undertaker, who had went on for 21 consecutive WrestleManias, is undefeated, was defeated last night for the first time. So it was a blow to my childhood and a complete shock to everybody in professional wrestling. And, I saw one tweet from, one person that, said, oh, everybody's surprised, that The Undertaker lost. Well, wait till they find out that wrestling is fake. I've known that, and I find it entertaining, but that is a soap opera for men that I've come to enjoy through the years. And it's unfortunate, The Undertaker, now that he is probably 50-some years old, he shows up every year for WrestleMania, and unfortunately he lost for the first time. So within the wrestling world, it is a big deal, and a lot of people were shocked to see that last night. And I myself, greatly disappointed, and kind of beginning to realize that I'm getting up there in age, and some of the things that were important to me as a kid are now beginning to transition outside of my life. So probably the last WrestleMania I'll ever watch, as The Undertaker will no longer probably be at WrestleMania. And it's unfortunate that he lost to Brock Lesnar, of all people, a former MMA fighter. He went from professional wrestling over to, MMA, became a champion over there. And in MMA, that is real. But he came back over to professional wrestling, and he shows up about once a year. And it's just unfortunate that he, got the victory over The Undertaker. And that, for people that watch professional wrestling, that is an iconic streak. And the fact that, he, was the one to get the victory, I think was a wasted marketing piece by the WWE. And part of me also feels that The Undertaker just decided to go out, at that point, and had made a decision, as the finish was kind of flopped, I thought. And I think Brock Lesnar himself looked a little surprised that he got the 3 count on The Undertaker. So just a little bit of personal information about me. I like to, divulge a lot of facts and information, but I also like the audience to kind of get to know a little bit more about me and some of my, exploits outside of the real estate business. If you're just tuning in, you've been listening to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show here on 1250 WINS WHNZ. And again, you'll find this show on every Mondays at noon. So I invite you to please tune in, as my show aims to become your information source for the Tampa Bay real estate market. Off air, you can get me at my websites, again, Tampa Bay Radio or TampaBayREO.com, and phone 813-760-8516. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your week.
The opinions, viewpoints,